What's going on, guys? Battle Nation Zimper here, back today with another video. And today, guys, we have a user request directly from the Empire server. So it comes from Bob Me OW Friend, and his message is this right here. And I'll go ahead and read it out for you. He just says, IDK if this is the right place for it, but a video about what the different stats do for soldiers, like bravery and offense, because I got no idea what they do. And this is a full stop great idea because I can't think of how many times I've been messaged this or seen this in the general Battle Nations server or general Battle Nations Reddit on, of course, Reddit itself. And again, just wanted to give him a shout out because this is a fantastic question, and we're going to be answering exactly that in today's video. What do stats like bravery do? What does offense even mean? What's the difference between armor and defense? We're going to be answering all these questions. So first things first, what do I even mean when I say these things? Just full stop. Let's say, you don't know about Battle Nations. You know somebody who doesn't know about Battle Nations. You want to introduce it to them full stop. How would you go about doing it? Well, it's like this. Each unit, whether it be the very first unit in the game, the Trooper, or, the best unit in the game, like the Legendary Mammoth or, Plasma Mammoth, right? All units have stats. Pretty self-explanatory. Basic video game stuff. And those stats consist of HP, offense, armor, bravery, dodge, and power. So as you can see, quite a few to choose from, and some of those are pretty self-explanatory. Like for example, you guys may not believe this, but dodge mainly determines can an ability dodge an attack. I know, shocking, right? So like obviously some of the stats are self-explanatory. A unit's dodge is how much it can dodge. Offense probably has something to do with attacking, and guess what? You'd be right. But some of those are a little bit more curious. Like for example, what exactly is armor? What's power? In the sense of how does it affect units? And also, what is bravery? Because that bravery thing really just does not make sense. So we'll go ahead and break it all down right here. Starting off with, I'll just go ahead and throw the wiki up and read it because I could do it myself, but I feel going down this thing one by one would be the best way to explain it, and then I can give a little bit more context because some of it is vague. And with all that being said, let's go ahead and start reading. Unit stats, and of course it lists HP there as the first one, and it reads, the HP points of a unit, indicated by the green bar as well. HP is reduced to 0 or below will destroy the unit. Extremely standard video game stuff. I don't think anybody was wondering about the HP. But don't worry, it does get a little bit more complex from here, and I'll be here all the way to make sure it's super simple. Very next one, armor. The armor points of a unit, if applicable, because some units don't have any armor, indicated by the blue bar as well. Armor is the equivalent of extra HP. Damage done to a unit is first applied to armor before HP. Unless the attack is armor piercing, which causes the loss of both health and armor at the rate governed by the armor piercing of the attack. So what does that mean? Long story short, armor will decrease before HP does. So armor is, there to, protect the HP, protect the unit. Very self-explanatory. But what does that armor piercing mean? So we probably will make another video like this on unit attacks and unit stats like frost, burn, and all that. We won't cover that in this video because that's a whole nother subject. We're just covering the stats. But if you guys like this video, we certainly can. But what armor piercing is each attack has a chance, or some of them have no armor piercing, but some attacks have armor piercing. Let's say it's 50% armor piercing. That means, armor's going to take half of it, and the other half is going to be, by HP. Let's say it's a theoretical 100%. All right, that means it's just going to bypass the armor, but, obviously that's not how it's going to work in the actual game, right? So most units will have, if they're good, they can have anywhere between a 25 to 75% armor piercing. A lot of attacks have no armor piercing, perfectly fine. But yeah, that's what that means when it said, armor piercing. Just want to give a little bit more context behind that. Now, moving on into the big one, bravery. Let's go ahead and break this guy down real quick. Bravery measures how well a unit resists suppression, a one-round stat that reduces the affected unit's offense. A unit with low bravery is more likely to be suppressed than a unit with high bravery. Some attacks, such as melee, have a higher chance to cause suppression. And I don't like how that's worded. This is why I'm glad I was able to do a video on it, because look at that reading. It says affects a unit's offense. Just going off that reading, I would think, oh, suppression lowers the attack, right? Or at least that's me. No. Suppression, long story short, it's a status effect, which, we can certainly cover. But all you need to know about it, and it's just the very basics of it, is it lowers the accuracy of a move. Not an attack, just the accuracy. So let's say your units get hit, they get hit with suppression, right? The attack causes suppression on them. The suppression will just lower their chance to do damage. Not actually know the damage they do, just the chance of it hitting. Think of this like sand attack in Pokemon. If you're a Pokemon fan, this literally is just a status effect that is sand attack. Now, bravery, all bravery does is just reduces the chances of suppression being added. So for example, a unit like Perface, which obviously is only for missions, has a bravery of 1000. That's because Perface is never meant to be suppressed, and she never is because the 1008, the 1000 bravery, right? But she's still not the most broken unit in the world because obviously all that really does is just give her immunity to suppression. So that's all bravery does. It's just focusing on suppression. But I'm not gonna lie, if Madrona wanted to expand to that, I'd be kind of cool with it, because don't get me wrong, I want a unit with high bravery. It just sounds cool, but doesn't it sound like it'd be more than suppression? Maybe that's just me, but let me know in the comments down below your guys' thoughts. I would love to hear them. Moving right along with defense, it reads, this value determines how mobile or elusive a unit is. The value is compared against the attacker's offense to determine the accuracy of the attack. Some attacks will with a miss or the cause of weapons with multiple hits. Not every attack will land. So again, just like bravery, it sounds like it'd be more about defense, but all it is about the accuracy and the elusiveness of your unit, the higher chance they have to dodge or the enemy unit has to miss. Continuing right along, we have dodge, and dodge is kind of what it sounds like, but we'll go ahead and read it, of course, still. Dodge reads, this is the chance the unit will outright dodge an attack that would normally be successful. The value is not visible to the players, but it improves and can be seen with some unit promotions. A successful dodge will reduce a damage of a significant amount. If unseen, dodge is still to place if for some attacks. So let's go ahead and break that down for that. All that basically means is, again, it's the chance that you dodge, but a successful dodge will reduce a damage by a significant amount. So what that means is you can still be hit and technically trigger a dodge. It won't appear up on your screen as dodge. It will just have reduced the damage sum. So technically, in a way, it's kind of like defense. I mean, if you want to think about it in that sense. Again, Madrona Game has built this from the ground up, and once, they bring everything back, we have level 70 like we do on the sandbox right here in regular game, right? They're probably going to go back and do massive balance changes across the board, which will clean up and fix everything. But for right now, this is what we got, and honestly, I'm still kind of cool with it. And then the last one we're going to go ahead and read is blocking, and that's because it peters off into weapon stats, which again, we can totally do, but we'll just go ahead and read blocking for right here. And blocking reads, blocking represents the size and stature of the unit, and how well the screen of other units placed behind them. None, or no blocking. This unit is either too fast or effective to block attacks, i.e. scout bikes, dug in hidden, sniper. This will only block contact fire. Partial. The unit will block some attacks. This will block contact and direct fire. Blocking. This unit is large enough to be able to hide behind friendly units. This includes most tanks and brawlers. So, the big raider brawler, he's able to protect you. This will block contact, direct, and precise fire. So let's go ahead and break down what all that means. So let's say you've got your standard battle nation formation, right? I'm just going to go ahead and throw an army up on screen. So if it has no blocking whatsoever, all units can shoot anything behind it. Anything that's behind it can be shot up. No problem, no question about it, right? If it has partial, some shooters, like snipers, will be able to get a shot in. Other units will not be, so they will be able to. And then, of course, the final, complete blocking, they won't be able to do a single thing against you. So to break it down within the context of this image, so we obviously don't have all these units back yet. That's the boom bust and mammoth artillery in the back. But as you can see in this image right here, you see the battle raptor they have has no blocking. So you'd be able to attack that thresher and anything behind it, assuming, well, the thresher will get back to him. But point being is the battle raptor has no blocking, can attack with him full stop. Something like, I think those limited edition troops up front would have partial blocking, i.e. battle raptors and other direct attackers can't get through them, but snipers and other hidden attackers could certainly get through them. And then finally, you have something like that Thrasher. You see that blue tank in the background? It was a limited edition boss strike unit. I have no clue how this image was made. Nevertheless, that Thrasher has full blocking. It is a tank, meaning that if anything was put behind it, like for example the legendary sandworm sitting right behind it, which certainly doesn't need to be protected, but still, that legendary sandworm cannot be attacked. You will have to kill that Thrasher before you hit that sandworm. Unless you have something like mortar team artillery, which you know is meant to attack behind people. But if you have only straight fire, yeah, you're going to have to take care of that Thrasher before you can take down the sandworm. And we do have two more here. I'll go ahead and read them just because they're pretty short. Base defense and defense armor. They simply read, the percentages represent how much damage is reduced to an attack for an attack of a respective type. In some cases, values above 1000 is actually a damage increase, representing a unit's weakness. Base defense damage modification is applied to damage HP. For example, 85% fire means fire damage type attacks will only do 85% of its full damage. And I think that's a perfect example. So again, not that he does, but let's just throw the arsonist up there, for example, right? Let's say, as this says, he has 85% fire. What that means is his bottle, his fire damage, will only do 85% of its full damage. Now again, that was just a hypothetical. I was only using the arsonist because we all know what he looks like. We all know what he kind of does. And I was just using him as, go-to example. But we continue on with the last one. Armor defense. The percentages represent how much damage reduction to an attack for a respective type. Armor defense damage modifier is applied only to damage to armor. And all that means is this does kind of get a little bit more complicated once you bring in armor piercing, but looking at this in a vacuum, all this means is that, as it reads, armor defense damage modification, so anything that modifies the damage or offense of a unit, is applied only to the damage of the armor, meaning that it will only go to the armor damage, not talking about anything related to HP. And yeah, guys, that will do it just for unit stats. Again, want to give a special shout out to the Imperial who recommended this, Bob OW Friend, because bro, this was a fantastic suggestion. Appreciate it. We got a lot of good suggestions over there. If you want to recommend your own video, please join on over. I would love to hear your video recommendations over there on the server. And yeah, if you guys want a sequel to this, we definitely can, because believe it or not, we're about a third of the way through this wiki, because this wiki covers all stats in Battle Nations. So we have a lot more to go if you guys want to continue with this series. Again, I think this is super helpful for new players coming on, or maybe just players coming back, who may not remember everything. Because I think the OG Battle Nations maybe had a tutorial or two for this. But Madrona Games is literally rebuilding this game from hand. They got none of the original source code. So it's completely understandable that they got to go retroactively at those things. Heck, I remember after the beta was, kind of out, but we still didn't have the tutorial. And that was kind of weird, right? But, now full game is out, we have the tutorial. And I'm sure at one point Madrona Games will probably bring back a version, or maybe just a brand new version, of a similar type of defense or protection to introduce these status effects. But yeah, guys, that will do it for today's video. Let me know what you thought about in the comments down below. Do you like these stats, like Bravery and Power? Do you wish they were a little bit more simplified? Do you love it as it is? And let me know, most importantly, if you want a part 2 to this video, because if so, I definitely can. I can get it made like tomorrow or the day after, whichever you guys prefer. And yeah, guys, with all that being said, that will just about do it for us. If you are still watching, I greatly appreciate you. Thank you very much for watching this Battle Nations video. If you enjoyed it, please consider dropping a like down below and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And with all that being said, that will do it for us today, guys. If I can speak, my goodness. Thank you guys very much for watching. And as always, have a great rest of your day.